When she walked into that luxury dealership, the salesman looked her up and down, smirked, and said, "You clearly don't have the money for this." What happened next left everyone speechless and cost him his career. This is the story of how one woman's dignity changed everything. Diane Mitchell sipped her coffee, gazing out at Lake Michigan from her Chicago penthouse. At 40, she had the quiet confidence of someone who knew exactly who she was. Her husband, James, had built a billion-dollar investment empire, but Diane remained true to her minimalist philosophy. "Are you sure you don't want me to come with you?" James asked, straightening his tie. Diane smiled. "I've got this. My car, my decision." Her 10-year-old sedan had finally died. And after years of refusing upgrades, she'd researched the perfect replacement, the Crown Victoria Sovereign. Not for luxury, but for its environmental features and safety ratings. She slipped on her favorite worn jeans and navy Chicago sweatshirt, tucked James's black card safely in her crossbody bag, and headed out. She had no idea this ordinary Tuesday would become anything but. The dealership stood like a gleaming monument in Chicago's Gold Coast, all glass, marble floors, and crystal chandeliers. Each car sat on a platform like a piece of art. Diane parked her aging sedan between a sports car and luxury SUV. The contrast was impossible to miss. Inside, 4 salesmen in identical blue suits noticed her immediately. Their body language shifted, stiffening, exchanging glances. Not one moved to greet her. She wandered among the vehicles for 15 minutes. When a well-dressed couple entered, 2 salesmen rushed to assist them. Diane smiled to herself. This wasn't her first time being judged by appearance. Finally, a junior salesman approached. "Can I help you?" "I'm interested in the Crown Victoria Sovereign," Diane replied. "The hybrid with enhanced safety features." Kevin's surprise was obvious. "You know your cars." "I do my research." As Diane and Kevin discussed technical specifications, regenerative braking systems, safety ratings, interior ergonomics, a senior salesman watched with narrowed eyes. "Kevin," the man interrupted, "I'll take over here." Blake, the senior salesman, assessed Diane with a dismissive glance. "The Sovereign starts at $175,000. Kevin was showing me the infotainment system," Diane replied calmly. "We have more accessible models. Perhaps something in a different price range would be more suitable." The implication was clear. "Actually, the Sovereign is exactly what I'm looking for," Diane said. "Performance, safety, and environmental considerations." Blake's eyebrows raised. "Most clients are more interested in horsepower than carbon footprint." "I'm not most clients. If you're serious, we should discuss financing. These vehicles require substantial down payments. That won't be necessary. I'll be paying in full today." For the first time, Blake's composure faltered. 20 minutes of technical questions later, Blake's patience evaporated. 2 other customers had entered, and he could sense lost commissions. "Let's be direct," he said, lowering his voice, but not enough. "This vehicle costs more than most homes. The monthly payments alone would exceed most people's mortgages." I'm prepared to purchase outright today, Diane repeated. Blake laughed incredulously. With all due respect, I've been in this business 15 years. I can gauge a serious buyer within minutes. And your gauge says, he glanced pointedly at her jeans, sweatshirt, practical bag. I have concerns about whether this model aligns with your current situation. The showroom quieted. Other salesmen stopped pretending not to listen. Please enlighten me about my situation, Mr. Blake. Look, I understand it's fun to dream, to sit in these cars and imagine. We get people like you all the time. There's nothing wrong with aspirational visits, but my job is to focus on qualified buyers. I'd like to proceed with the Sovereign. Blake's patience snapped completely. The mask of professionalism fell away. I don't think you understand what you're asking, he said loudly. This vehicle costs more than some homes. Then came the moment that would define everything. Blake raised his hand dismissively in front of Diane's face and announced for everyone to hear, I'm sorry, but you clearly don't have the money for this. I won't waste any more of your time or mine. Silence. Every eye in the showroom fixed on them. One moment, Mr. Blake, Diane said, her voice taking on a new edge. I'd like to speak with your manager. Blake smirked, believing he was summoning reinforcement rather than his own reckoning. Manager Reynolds emerged, offering conciliatory words about misunderstandings and proper matching of clients with suitable vehicles. There was no misunderstanding, Diane said firmly. Mr. Blake made his assessment based on my appearance. She reached into her bag and withdrew a sleek black wallet. From it, she produced a single card that commanded instant attention, the unmistakable black titanium of an invitation-only credit card. Perhaps this will clarify my situation, Blake stared, cycling through disbelief, shock, and dawning horror. The card belongs to my husband, James Mitchell. Perhaps you've heard of Mitchell Global Investments? The effect was electric. Reynolds' eyes widened. The receptionist gasped. James Mitchell, billionaire, one of Chicago's most influential business. Miss Mitchell, I had no idea, Blake stammered. That was precisely the problem, Diane interrupted. You had no idea who I was, yet you felt comfortable publicly humiliating me based on my clothing. I can't begin to express how sorry I am, Blake pleaded. Reynolds offered exclusive discounts, VIP treatment, damage control. A discount? Diane repeated. Because now you've determined I can afford full price? She looked directly at Blake. My objection isn't that you failed to recognize my financial status. My objection is that you felt entitled to treat another human being with contempt based on assumptions. She returned the card to her wallet deliberately. The question now isn't whether I can afford your car, Mr. Blake. The question is whether you deserve my business. Kevin, the junior salesman, stepped forward courageously. Miss Mitchell, if you're still interested, I would be honored to help you. Diane smiled at his gesture, but shook her head. I appreciate that, Kevin. You were respectful from the beginning. But my husband and I will take our business elsewhere. She addressed the entire showroom. Today wasn't about a car. It wasn't even about money. It was about basic human dignity and respect. As Diane walked out, with quiet dignity. She left behind a showroom of stunned faces and one important lesson about judging people by appearances. The consequences were swift. Blake was terminated. The incident went viral through Chicago's social circles. Kevin was offered a better position at Lakeside Motors. Prestige Auto Gallery implemented comprehensive bias training. 1 week later, Diane drove home in her gleaming golden Sovereign, purchased from Lakeside Motors, where she was treated with respect from the moment she walked in. The story's gotten around, James told her. Reynolds called to thank you. Thank me? For showing them a blind spot that was hurting their business. They've probably lost countless qualified buyers over the years because of superficial judgments. A month later, Kevin emailed Diane. Thank you for reminding me why treating people with dignity matters. You changed more than you know that day. Diane looked out at her golden Sovereign, not just a luxury vehicle, but a reminder that true value has nothing to do with appearances and everything to do with how we treat one another. Sometimes, the most powerful statement isn't made with wealth or status, but with quiet dignity and an unwavering commitment to being treated with basic human respect. Have you ever been judged based on your appearance? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories that prove appearances aren't everything. Hit that notification bell and remember, your worth is never determined by how others see you, but by how you see yourself.